Most Americans believe that saving 5% or 10% of their income for retirement is enough. They contribute just enough to get the 401 match, maybe a little extra, and they assume that decades of compound interest will do the rest. But here's the brutal truth that no one tells you. If you save less than 15% of your gross income starting at age 25, you will almost certainly run out of money in retirement, or you will never be able to retire at all. The math is unforgiving. A 10% savings rate, even with 30 years of growth, leaves the average worker with less than half of what they need. And if you start later than 25, the percentage needs to be even higher. If you stay until the end of this video, you'll learn exactly why 15% is the magic number, how to calculate your personal savings rate, and most importantly, how to reach that 15% even if you're currently saving zero. I'll give you a step-by-step blueprint for increasing your savings rate without feeling deprived. You'll never look at your paycheck the same way again. My name is your name. And today, we're going to make sure you actually retire, not just work until you drop. Let me start with a story that might scare you. I met a man named Dave at a financial literacy event. Dave was 55 years old, earning $80,000 a year, and he had saved $150,000 for retirement, about 15% of what he needed. He had always saved 5% of his income, assuming Social Security would fill the gap. Then he ran the numbers. At age 55, with $150,000, saving 5% more each year, his retirement income at 65 would be about $24,000 per year. Combined with Social Security, maybe $45,000. That's below his basic living expenses. He told me, "I thought I was doing okay. I didn't know I was this far behind." Dave isn't alone. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of working-age Americans have less than $10,000 saved for retirement. And the average retirement savings for people aged 56 to 61 is only about $163,000. That's not even close to enough. The 15% rule comes from decades of retirement research. It's not a random number. Financial planners and academics have calculated that to replace about 80% of your pre-retirement income, a standard goal, you need to save roughly 15% of your gross income every year for 30 to 40 years, assuming a 5-7% real return. Let me show you the math. Assume you earn $60,000 per year and save 15%, that's $9,000 annually. You start at age 25 and earn a 7% real return. By age 65, you'll have over $1.7 million. Using the 4% withdrawal rule, that gives you about $68,000 per year, which is more than your pre-retirement income. If you save only 10%, $6 per year, you end up with about $1.1 million or $44,000 per year. That's a 36% drop in retirement income. If you save only 5%, $3,000 per year, you end up with about $560,000 or $22,000 per year.
That's not a retirement. Now, what if you start later?
If you start at age 35, saving 15%, $9,000 per year until 65, you'll have about $850, half of what the 25-year-old achieved. To catch up, you'd need to save nearly 30% of your income. If you start at age 45, you'd need to save over 50% of your income. The math is clear. Starting early is critical, but if you start late, you need a much higher savings rate. The 15% rule applies to a 30-40-year working career. If you have less time, you need more. But here's the good news. 15% is achievable for almost everyone. It may require adjustments, but it's not radical. Let me break down how to calculate your savings rate, and then how to increase it step by step. Step 1. Calculate your current savings rate. Asterisk, your savings rate is the percentage of your gross income that you put toward retirement and long-term investments. This includes your 401(n) contributions, IRA contributions, HSA contributions if invested for retirement, and any taxable brokerage contributions designated for retirement. Do not include employer matches in your savings rate. The 15% refers to your own savings. But the employer match is a bonus that lowers the effective amount you need to save on your own. For example, if you save 10% and your employer matches 5%, your total is 15%. That's fine. But be careful, employer matches often have vesting schedules. Don't rely on unvested match. To calculate your rate, divide your annual retirement contributions by your gross annual income. If you earn $50,000 and put $5,000 into your 401(a) and $2,500 into a Roth IRA, that's $7,500 divided by $50,000, 15%. You're at the rule. Step 2. The 1% increment challenge. If your current savings rate is below 15%, do not try to jump to 15% overnight. That's a recipe for frustration and burnout. Instead, increase your savings rate by 1% per month for the next 10 months, or 1% per pay period. Each time you get a raise, allocate half of it to increase savings. Here's why this works. A 1% increase on a $60,000 salary is just $600 per year, or $50 per month. That's one dinner out. Most people don't notice $50 missing from their paycheck. Do that 10 times and you're at 15%. The 1% increment method is the most painless way to reach the 15% rule. I've seen this work dozens of times. A client named Maria was saving 6% of her $45,000 salary. She felt overwhelmed. We broke it down. She increased her 401(n) contribution by 1% every 3 months. She also put half of every raise into savings. Within 18 months, she was at 15%. She told me, I didn't even feel it. I just stopped buying lunch twice a week and started bringing leftovers. That's the power of incremental change. Step 3. The 15% formula for different income levels. Asterisk, the 15% rule is proportional. If you earn $30,000, 15% is $4,500 a year, $375 a month. That's a lot on a low income. But you also have lower taxes and may qualify for the Saver's Credit, which gives you a tax credit for retirement contributions. If you earn $30,000, the Saver's Credit could give you up to $1,000 back. That effectively reduces your needed contribution. Also, Social Security will replace a higher percentage of your income if you're a low earner. So the 15% rule is a guideline, not a law. If you earn below $40,000, you might be okay with 10–12%. If you earn above $100,000, you may need 20% or more because Social Security replaces a lower percentage of high incomes. The more you earn, the higher your savings rate needs to be. Here's a quick table. For income under $50,000, aim for 10 to 15%. For income $50,000 to $100,000, aim for 15%. For income $100,000 to $200,000, aim for 18 to 20%. For income over $200,000, aim for 25%. Rule is the baseline. Adjust up if you start late, want to retire early, or have a high income. Step 4. Where to put the 15%. The priority order. Not all savings are equal. You want to maximize tax advantages. Here is the order you should fill your retirement buckets. First, contribute enough to your 401(a) to get the full employer match. That's free money. If your employer matches 50% of your first 6%, that's an instant 50% return on that 6%. Take it. Second, max out your health savings account if you have an HDHP. The HSA is triple tax advantage, tax-deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for medical expenses. After age 65, you can withdraw for any purpose penalty-free, paying ordinary income tax. The HSA is the ultimate retirement account. Third, max out your Roth IRA. For 2026, the limit is $7,000. Roth IRAs offer tax-free growth and tax-free withdrawals in retirement. Plus, you can withdraw contributions anytime without penalty. This is especially valuable for early retirees. Fourth, go back to your 401A and contribute up to the annual limit of $23,500 plus catch-up if over 50. This reduces your current taxable income, which is great if you're in a high tax bracket. Fifth, if you still have money left, invest in a taxable brokerage account. Use tax-efficient ETFs like VTI or VU. This order ensures you're getting the most bang for your buck. If you can only save 15%, allocate it in this priority sequence. Step 5. How to find the 15% when you're living paycheck to paycheck. I hear this all the time. I can barely pay my bills. How can I save 15%? The answer is not to cut essentials like rent and food. It's to focus on the 3 big drains: housing, transportation, and food waste. I covered these in script 29. Let me summarize. First, housing. If you're spending more than 30% of your gross income on rent or mortgage, you are overextended. Consider a roommate, a cheaper neighborhood, or a smaller space. Saving $500 a month on housing is $6,000 a year. That's 15% of a $40,000 income right there. Second, transportation. The average car payment is over $700 a month. If you have a car loan, you are burning cash. Sell the car, buy a $10,000 used car with cash from savings or a small loan, and eliminate the payment. The average car owner saves $500, $800 a month by downgrading. That's another 15% of a $60,000 income. Third, food. The average American spends over $300 a month on eating out and delivery. Cutting that to $100 saves $200 a month, $2,400 a year. That's 4 or 5% of a $50,000 income. Combine with the other two, and you've easily reached 15%. I've seen people go from 0% savings to 15% in 6 months by fixing these 3 drains. They didn't need to increase their income, they just stopped wasting money. Step 6. The psychological shift, paying yourself first. The 15% rule is not about deprivation. It's about redefining your priorities. Most people save what's left after spending. That's backwards. You should save first, pay yourself first, and then spend what's left. Set up an automatic transfer on payday to move 15% of your paycheck into a separate retirement account. You will adjust your spending to the remaining 85%. It's amazing how quickly you adapt. A study found that people who automate their savings save twice as much as those who don't, even with the same income. Remove the choice. Automate the 15%. Let me give you a concrete example. A 30-year-old named James earns $70,000. He automates a 15% contribution to his 401n, $10,100 per year. His take-home pay drops from about $4,500 per month to about $4,000 per month. That's a $500 reduction. He cuts his eating out from $400 to $200, cuts unused subscriptions $50, and switches to a cheaper cell phone plan $30. He also saves $70 on insurance by shopping around. Total savings, $500. He doesn't feel any reduction in quality of life, just more intentional spending. By age 65, he'll have over $2 million. That's the 15% rule in action. What about debt? Should I save 15% if I have high-interest debt? The classic advice is to pay off credit card debt before investing. That's correct. If you have credit card debt at 20% interest, every dollar you put towards savings instead of debt is losing you 20% minus your investment return. So first, pay off all credit card debt. Then build a $1,000 emergency fund. Then, if your employer offers a 401n match, contribute enough to get the match. That's a 50–100% return, which beats credit card interest. Then pay off other high-interest debt, personal loans, car loans above 8, then go back to saving 15%, the order matters. But for low-interest debt like student loans under 6 PELs or a mortgage under 5, prioritize saving 15% over paying extra on debt. Because the long-term growth of investments, 7-10 marries beats the interest saved, the 15% rule for couples. Asterisk, if you're married, you should calculate your savings rate based on your combined gross income and combined retirement contributions. But there's a nuance. If one spouse earns significantly less, you might want to target a higher percentage of the lower earner's income to take advantage of the saver's credit. Also, you can use a spousal IRA. A non-working spouse can contribute to an IRA based on the working spouse's income. That's a great way to double your tax advantage space. Let me give you a couple examples. Sarah earns $90,000, Tom earns $30,000, combined $120,000. 15% is $18,000 per year. They contribute $10,000 to Sarah's 401(n), $6,000 to Tom's IRA, and $2,000 to a joint taxable account. They also each contribute to a Roth IRA. Actually, with a combined income of $120,000, they are below the Roth IRA phase-out for married couples, $242,000 plus in 2026, so they can both max Roth IRAs. The key is to coordinate. The 15% rule for the self-employed. Asterisk, self-employed individuals have even more powerful retirement savings options. You can open a solo 401(a) and contribute up to $23. $500 as an employee, plus up to 25% of your net self-employment income as an employer, up to a total of $70,000 in 2026. That's a much higher limit than a standard 401(n). If you're self-employed and earning well, you can save 15% easily. You can also open a SEP IRA and contribute up to 25% of net earnings, capped at $70,000. The key is to make sure you're taking advantage of these accounts. Many freelancers ignore them because they seem complicated, but they're not. Open a solo 401(a) at Vanguard or Fidelity in 15 minutes. What if you're over 50 and behind? Ask Catch-up contributions are your friend. In 2026, if you're 50 or older, you can contribute an extra $7,500 to your 401(a), total $31,000, and an extra $1,000 to your IRA, total $8,000. That's a lot of extra savings. But it still may not be enough if you're significantly behind. You may need to save 25 to 30% of your income, work longer, or plan to live on less in retirement. There's no magic solution. But every dollar you save starting today is better than nothing. Don't let perfectionism stop you. Save what you can and increase gradually. The 15% rule for early retirement, FIRE. Asterisk. If you want to retire early, say at 50 or 55, you need to save much more than 15%. FIRE devotees often save 50–70% of their income. That's extreme and not necessary for most people. But if you're aiming to retire at 55 instead of 65, you might need to save 20–25%. The 15% rule is designed for a traditional retirement age of 65–67. Adjust accordingly. Asterisk. How to track your savings rate. Use a spreadsheet or an app like Personal Capital. Every month, log your contributions to all retirement accounts. Divide by your gross monthly income. If you're below 15%, make a plan to increase by 1% next month. If you're above, congratulations, you're on the path to wealth. Let me leave you with a final story. A viewer named Robert was 28 years old, earning $52,000 a year and saving 0% debt. He followed the 1% increment method. He also took a side hustle driving for Uber 10 hours a week, earning an extra $500 a month. Within a year, he was saving 15% of his base salary plus the entire side hustle income. By age 35, he had $100,000 saved. By age 45, $400. By age 55, over $1 million. He's on track to retire at 62. He told me the 15% rule seemed impossible, but I just started with one first. Now I don't even think about it. You can be Robert. You don't need a high income. You just need a plan and consistency. Here's your action plan for today. First, calculate your current savings rate. Write it down. Be honest. Second, if it's below 15%, identify one change you can make this month to increase it by 1%. Increase your 401 contribution by 1%, or open a Roth IRA and set up a $50 monthly auto transfer. Third, if it's far below, use the 1% increment challenge. Set a calendar reminder to increase your savings rate by 1% on the first of every month for the next 14 months. Fourth, automate. Set up the payroll deduction or auto transfer today. Do not delay. Fifth, cut one big drain. Call your insurance company to lower your rate or downgrade your car or find a cheaper apartment. Use the savings to fund your 15%. Sixth, if you're self-employed, open a solo 401a or SEP IRA this week. Savant, comment below. My current savings rate is 0%. My goal is 15%. I'll reply with encouragement. If this video showed you that 15% is achievable, hit the like button. It helps others who feel stuck. Subscribe and turn on notifications. In the next video, I'm going to answer the question on everyone's mind. How much crypto should you really own? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the 3% gamble? The 15% rule is not a punishment. It's a promise to your future self that you won't be eating cat food in retirement. Start today. You can do it. I'll see you in the next video.